Naima here from Asna Academy. I hope you all are doing good. So today we will study the part 2 of the chapter 9, which is refractive index. Okay, so let's continue. You have already studied that the ray light of the travels oblique from one transparent medium into another will change its direction in the second medium. This is what we have started in the refraction concept. So the extent of a change in direction that takes place in a given pair of a media, it expressed in the terms of refractive index, the constant appearing on the right hand side. So the refractive index can be linked to an important physical quantity, okay, that relative of a propagation of light in a different media. It turns that light propagate with a different speed in the different media. Also, the light travels fastest in the vacuum with 3 into 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. In air, the speed of the light is only magnetically less compared to that in a cube. So it reduces the considerably in the glass of water. So the value of refractive index from the given pair of the media depends on the speed of light of the two media as are given below. See, two mediums are there. If you can see, there's a glass, but this is the one medium which is air. This is the second medium which is glass. This light is incidenting over here and it's getting refracted from this. So A to B, and then incident angle. This is reflection angle, and an dash. Here, then consider the ray of light travel from the medium 1 to 2. Okay, and then let V1 and V2 are like the speed of light for the medium 1 and the medium 2. The refractive index of the medium 2 with respect to the medium 1 is the ratio of the medium 1 and with respect to the medium 2. It means n21 is equals to speed of light of medium 1 and then medium 2. And this is usually represents the symbol n21, and this can be represented in the equation as below, for 21 and 12. After this, if the medium of the vacuum, then refractive index of the medium 2 is considered with respect to the vacuum, and this is called as absolute refractive index of medium. It is simply represented by n2, and if c is the speed of the light here, then the speed of the light of the medium, then the refractive index will be nm, which will be equals to, this is the refractive index of the medium, which will be equals to speed of light in the air and the speed of light in the medium, or we can say C upon B. So this is the absolute refractive index. So this is what refractive index means. Also, the absolute refractive index of the medium, simply called it as a refractive index. The refractive index of the several media is given here, like for the different mediums. And also, you can know that the refractive index of the water is NW, which is equals to 1.33. Just keep in mind, N is representing the refractive index. Also, this means that the ratio of the speed of light in air and the speed of light in the water is equals to 1.33. Similarly, the refractive index of the crown glass is Ng is equals to 1.52. Such as data are helpful in the many places. However, you need not to memorize the data. So, this is what the refractive index is. Now, there are some, this is the value table, which is basically representing the absolute refractive index of the some material media. Like see, material medium like air, ice, water, alcohol, kerosene, fused quartz, turpentine, oil, benzene, crown glass. So there, these are the mediums and the refractive index respectively. For the air, it is 1.003, and material medium will be the Canada and the balsam. Refractive index will be 1.53. For the ice water, for the ice it will be 1.31. For water, it is 1.32, and for the rock salt, it is 1.54. Alcohol 1.36, kerosene 1.44, carbon sulfide 1.63. Fluid skirts 1.46, dense medium 1.65. So these maybe you will get in objective base. So you can learn these refractive index value of different material medium. Also note that the stable is optically denser medium and may not process greater mass density. For example, kerosene have a higher refractive index and is so optically denser than the water, and although its mass density is less than the water. Now, just let's know more. The ability of the medium to reflect the light is also expressed in terms of optical density. Optical density has a definite connotation. Okay, it is not the same as the mass density. We have been using the terms rarer medium and the denser medium in the chapter. So it is actually means optical rare medium and optically denser medium respectively. So when we can say that the medium is optically denser than other, so in comparison of two media, one with the larger refractive index optically denser than the other medium. So other medium lower refractive index is optically rarer. The speed of the light is higher in the rarer medium and the denser medium. So thus, a ray of the light traveling from the rare medium to the denser medium slow down and bends toward the normal. When it traveled from the denser medium to rare medium, it is speed up and bent away from the normal. So this is about the medium, optically rare medium, denser medium, what will happen when it has a different kind of mediums. Now, the refraction by the spherical lenses. Okay, we have started the reflection through the spherical lenses for the concave and the convex. Now what we will read the refraction, what exactly happen when it get incident in the different like points, when in the focus, in the center of curvature, below the mirror, beyond the mirror, etc. So these all things will cover here in the refraction by the spherical lenses. Firstly, you might have seen the watchmakers using the small magnifying glass to see the tiny parts, right? So have you ever touched the surface of the magnifying glass with your hand? Is it a plain surface or the curved one? Is it thicker of the middle or at the edge? So the glass is used to be the spectacle, and that the watchmaker are the example of the lenses. What actually the lens is and how does it bend the light? We shall discuss in this section. So lens is something which we can use in the glasses or which we can use in and as a in a magnifying glasses as well. So firstly, the transparent material bound by the two surfaces of which one or the both surfaces are the spherical form of lens. This means that is the lens is bound by at least one spherical surface. So in such lens, the other surface would be plane and the lens may have a two spherical surface bulging outward. Such lens is called a double convex lens. Every like see what actually the double convex lens is, a lens may have a two spherical surface. Okay, it's not having only one, but it is having two spherical surface and they are just bulging outward, and such lens is called as a double convex lens. Now it is simply that a convex lens, it is a thicker middle as compared to the edges. Now convex lens converges light rays as shown in figure. Here we can see also, as the convex lens are also called as a converging lens. We can say convex lens as a converging lenses. Similarly, a double concave lens is bounded by the two spherical surfaces curved inward, and it is thicker at the edge and that of the middle. So such lens diverge light rays as shown in the figure 9.2b here. Okay, and the such lens is called a diverging lens. A double concave lens is called a concave lens. So convex lens, first one is representing the convex lens, while the second one is representing the concave lens. So this is about the refraction in the concave and the convex lens or the two spherical mirrors. Now, lens with either the convex or the concave has a two spherical surface. This part is clear. Okay, each of these surfaces form the part of a sphere, and the center of these spheres is called as a center of curvature. And of the lens, the center of the curvature of lens is usually represented by the letter C. And since there are two center of curvature, we may represent them as a C1 and another one is C2. So an imaginary straight line passing through the two centers. Okay. Now here you can see this is C2, another one is C1. Also, an imaginary line is passing through the two centers of the curvature of lens, and this particular is known as principal axis. And the central part of the point of the lens is an optical center, and it is usually represented by the letter O. See, here it is. Now, a ray of the light in the optical center of lens passes without suffering any deviation. The effective diameter of the circular outline of a spherical lens is called aperture. The effective line of the diameter of the circular spherical lens is known as aperture, and we shall confine the discussion of this chapter such as lens whose aperture is much less than its radius of curvature and to center of the curvature and equidistant from the optical center O. Such lenses are called thin lenses with a small aperture. When what happens when the parallel rays and incident ray we'll have activity for that. Let's read it. Firstly, do not look at the sun directly through the lens while doing this activity. Otherwise, you may damage your eyes if you do so. Hold a convex lens, okay, in your hand and direct towards the sun. Focus on the light of the sun on this sheet of the paper and then obtain the sharp, bright image of the sun. Hold the paper and the lens of the same position for a while. Keep the observing paper, what happened, why, recall your experience and the activity. So, this is how you can measure the like you can use the convex lens with the help of sunlight and all. So the paper begins burning with the producing smoke, and it may catch the fire after a while. Why this happen? Actually, the sun the light of from the sun constitute a parallel light rays of the light. Okay, it's like this only. Parallel light rays are coming from the sun. uh, so the concentration of the sunlight at the point generated heat. When it just focuses on the E at one point only, here it will cause the heat and this caused a paper to burn. Now we shall consider the rays of the light parallel to the principal axis lens. What happens when you pass the rays of light through the lens? Then this is illustrated in the example, the convex lens as a concave lens. So firstly, you'll have to observe carefully that several light ray parallel to the principal axis and falling on the convex lens. And these rays are after reflection from the lens are converging to the point on the principal axis. This is the point of the principal axis called a principal focus of the lens. And also see the observation from here, this 9.12A and this 9.12B, they are representing. Okay. So what is just happening is when we observe the B part, several rays of the light parallel to the principal axis are falling on the concave lens. So these rays after refraction from the lens are appearing to diverge from the point on the principal axis, and the point of the principal axis is called a principal focus of the concave lens. Also, if you pass the parallel rays from the opposite surface of the lens, then you get another principal focus on the opposite side. So let letter be the usually used to represent the principal focus, and however the lens has a two principal foci and they are represented as f1 and f2, and the distance of the principal focus from the optical center of the lens is called a focal length. So the letter F is used to represent the focal length. How can you find the focal length of the convex lens? So firstly, you'll have to recall the activity. It's 9.11, this one activity which we did with the sunlight. So this activity, the distance between the position of the lens and the position of the image of the sun gives approximate focal length of a lens. Now, image formation by the lens. How image formed by the lens? Lens form images by the reflecting light. How do the lens form the images and what is the nature? Let us study for a convex lens first. See, we have an activity. On the basis of that, we'll move forward. Take a convex lens. Find the approximate focal length in which the way we have described. Okay. Firstly, draw the parallel straight line using chalk on the long table such that the distance between the successive line is equal, parallel to each other. Okay. Now place the lens on the lens stand and then place it in the center line, and that optical center of the lens lie over that line. Now the two lines on either side of the lens correspond to F and 2F respectively. Mark them with the appropriate letter such as 2F1, F2, F1, F2, 2F2 respectively. Now what you have to do is, after drawing this line, place the burning candle far beyond the 2F1. After naming this, you'll have to just put the burning candle beyond the 2F1 and then to the left. Obtain a clear sharp image of the screen to the opposite side of the lens. Now note it down the nature, position and the relative size of image, how you are getting the image. You just repeat this activity by placing the object just behind the 2F1, between the F1 and 2F1, F1 and F2. Just change it, okay, and note down the tabular observation, what image and the nature of the image you are getting there. So here the nature, position, the relative size of the image from the convex mirror, this summarized here, what you are going to get. You can just verify it. When you are putting it at infinity, any place, that the position of the image will be at f2, okay, and the relative size of the image will be highly diminished point size. Also the nature of image will be real and inverted. Second, when you will keep that object in beyond the 2F1, then it will be between F2 and 2F2, and the relative size of the image will be diminished and real and inverted. at 2f2, like at 2f1, the image you will get at 2f2. Also, you will get the same size, whatever you the object size is, that size only you are going to get. Also, it will be real and inverted. Now f1 and 2f1. So it will be will get the position of image beyond the 2f2, and it will be quite enlarged, real and inverted. At focus f1 at infinity, you will get the image, and relative size of the image would be formed. We are now between the focus f1 and the optical center O on the same side, the lens as the object, and last you will get the relative image, and the nature of image will be virtual and erect. So this is the nature, position, and the relative size of the image formed by the convex mirror when we are positioning the object in the different places. Now let us do one activity on the nature, position, and the relative size of the image formed by the concave lens. What will happen for the concave lens? So here, firstly, take the concave lens and place it in the lens stand. Take the burning candle on the one side of the lens, another look through the lens from the other side for observe the image. Try to get the image on the screen if possible. If not, then observe the image directly through the lens. Note down that the nature, relative size, approximate position of the image. Move the candle away from the lens, and also note the change in the size of the image. What happens to the size image when the candle is placed far away from the lens? So this is the activity you will have to do, and you will get some summarized result. You can cross verify the results from here as well. So see the nature, position, and the relative size of the image formed by the concave lens for the various position object. Firstly, position of the object at infinity, position of the image at focus point f1 you will get, and also the relative image of the relative size of the image will be highly diminished point and sized, and the nature of the image will be virtual and erect. Now, when position of the object is between infinity and the optical center O of the lens, then the position of the image will be the f1 and the optical center will be O. At that time, the relative size of the image will be diminished, and the nature of the image will be virtual and erect. So, what the conclusion can you draw from this activity? A concave lens will always give the virtual and the erect and the diminished image irrespective to the position of object. This is what we have observed. Now, image formation in the lens using the ray diagram. We have also studied for the concave and the convex mirror. Now we'll do it for the image formation of the lens using the ray diagram. So we know that how convex and concave lens look like. So we just explore it with the help of ray diagram. We can represent image formation by the lens using the ray diagrams, and also the ray diagram will also keep us to study the nature, the position, and the relative size of the image formed by the lenses. So for drawing the ray diagram in the lenses alike, a spherical mirror, we consider the two of the following rays, like this, concave and the convex. See, here this foci f1 and f2 incident rays, here this is an incident ray. From this point it's getting reflected, incident ray, and from here it's getting reflected like this. So firstly, in the case a ray of the light is object parallel to the principal axis, as we can see it is parallel, okay, and after the refraction from the convex lens passes through the principal foci. See, it's just simply passes to the principal focus, and also on the other side of the lens as shown here in the 9.31a. In the case of concave lens, the ray appears diverse from the principal focus and located on the same side of the lens as shown here in the B. Here it's going like this, and here it's just going away from the focus f2. So this is the observation for the first one. Now for the second one, what is just happening is a ray of the light passing through the principal axis. See, it's incidenting like this, okay, and focus after the reflection formed from the convex lens will emerge and parallel to the principal axis. It's again parallel to the principal axis, and this is shown in figure 9.18, this one, okay, and our ray of the light is appearing to meet the principal axis. Okay, here maybe it will meet the principal axis like this. The dotted lines are representing, and after the refraction will emerge parallel to the principal axis, and this is shown in the figure 9.14b. Now, third is a ray of the light passing through the optical center of the lens will emerge through the deviation like this. Okay, and this let's read here in the part A and in the part B. See, they both are following the same path. The ray of the light, whatever the ray of light is passing through it, the optical center, actually they are just simply passing through from the optical center and will emerge without any deviation. They will not deviate with far, simply they are following the same path. And this is has been illustrated for both the lens, if it's concave and the convex both. Now, the ray diagram image formation in the convex or the concave for the view position of the object as shown in figure, and the ray diagram represented the convex for the in a concave lens of various position of the object as shown. Okay, so when the object is at the different, means for the first year, the infinity, etc., at that time what will happen, this has been explained over here. Like see, when they are just parallel to it, coming to the one point and just meeting to the focus point F2, when an incident ray is happening like this, the point A and B is the object. Here we let the immersed like inverted image, which is A dash and B dash. Okay, and also this is only for the concave lens. Again, when the A and B light is passing through, what we are getting here, like when it is passing through the center of curvature. Okay, so this is what it has been shown here. So the position, size and the nature of the image formed by the convex lens or the various position of the object. Now, this is for the concave. Then now the convex lens here, when this focal, we has a principal focus F1 and F2, and at the lens O is the point center of curvature. When it is parallel to the line incident rays, then it will go like this. And when here AV is an object incident ray, and then it makes an angle and just passing through the center of curvature O. So this is the nature and the position, relative size of the image formed by the concave lens. So this is about the formation of image through the different lenses, concave and the convex. Now the sign convention for the spherical lenses. Okay, we have started for the mirror as well. But now we'll study the sign convention for the spherical lenses. So firstly, see, for the lenses, we follow the sign convention similar to the one of the spherical mirror. We apply the rules for the sign of the distance except all measurement are taken from the optical center of the lens. So according to the convention, the focal length of the lens is positive, and that is a convex, that is a concave and is negative. And you must take care of apply the appropriate sign convention for U, B, F, focus, image point, distance point and all. Height is H, and the image height will be H dash. So this is the sign convention for the spherical lenses. Now let's move forward with the lens formula. We have studied the mirror formula. Now we'll go forward with the lens formula and the magnification, what actually it is. So as we have the formula for the spherical mirrors, we have also have a formula for the spherical lenses. So this formula gives the relationship between the object U and the image distance is V and the focal length is F. Just keep in mind U is the distance object and V is the image distance and focal length is the F. So the lens formula will express it as a 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon F. So this will be the lens formula. So the lens formula gives the above is general and a valid in all situations for the spherical lens. Same line which we have followed for the mirror formula. Take the proper care of the sign for the different quantities while putting the numerical values for solving the problem. It depends on the quantities only. Otherwise, this formula will be applicable for all situations for any of the spherical lens. Okay, so this is about the lens formula. Just keep in mind 1 upon F will be equals to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. Now the magnification. Okay, what is magnification? So the magnification is produced by the lens. Just keep in mind. Okay, and similar to that for the spherical mirror is defined as the ratio. It is the ratio height of the image and height of the object. So simply the ratio of height of the image and height of the object will be the magnification. Magnification is represented by the letter M, and if H is the height of the object and H dash is the height of the image given by a lens, then the magnification produced by the lens is given by M is equals to height of image and height of object. That will be equals to H dash upon H. Okay. Magnification is produced by the lens and is also related to the object distance U and image distance will be V. And this is the relationship between like magnification M will be equals to H dash upon H and which is equals to V upon U. So this is about a magnification process. Now we'll study some numericals which is based on this lens formula and the magnification thing. We have one example which is like a convex lens. Okay, focal length is given 15 centimeter. Distance should be that the placed in the form of image at a 10 centimeter from the lens. Also find the magnification produced by the lens. So firstly, a concave lens forms a virtual erect image on the same side of the object. Here V is equals to minus 10 centimeter, focal length F is equals to minus 15 centimeter. Okay, and also it will have do the sign convention on the basis of the image formation thing. Okay, so object distance you will have to find. So just put the formula, lens formula, which is 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon F. So we get 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon V minus 1. Just rearrange it, and here when you substitute all the values, whatever values you have V and F, you get here U is equals to minus of 30 centimeter. So thus the object distance is 30 centimeter. So the magnification M will be equals to V upon U. You'll have to substitute the value M is equals to minus 10 upon minus 30. This will be equals to 1 upon 3. We can write it as a plus of 0.33. Okay, so simply whatever values you have, on the basis of that, you just put all the values in the formula and you will get the values. Okay, so the value which you have to find. So the positive sign shows that the image is erect and the virtual. This year from that table thing we have studied now, from there only you can conclude when it is in the positive and it will be negative and all. So the image is 1/3 of the size of the object. So this is the first American. Now let's move ahead with the another one. We have firstly a 2.0 centimeter tall object is placed perpendicular to the principal axis of the convex lens, and its focal length is like 10 centimeter. Okay, and the distance of the object is also given to us, which is 15 centimeter. So what you have to do is you'll have to find the nature, position, and the size of the image. Also, you'll have to find the magnification as well. So firstly, just write the given data, whatever things are given to you, which is height of the object, h plus sign on the sign convention theory only. Here we are following. Focal length is given to us 10 centimeter. Object distance is given to us minus 15 centimeter. And image distance is given to, we'll have to find out. And the height of the image is h dash. So firstly, we know that the mirror formula, the lens formula, you just put the formula here, keep V one side, because as we have to find the V only, substitute all the values, and here you get V is equals to plus 30 centimeter. So here the positive sign of the V shows that the image is formed at the distance of 30 centimeter. So the other side of the optical center. So the image is real and inverted, as it is plus in sign. So we can conclude that the image so formed here will be real and inverted. So magnification here M is equals to h dash upon h. This is also we know, which is also equals to V upon U. So it will be h dash is equals to h V upon U. We substitute all the values, whatever values we have, like h dash will be equals to 2.0 and then plus 13 upon minus 50. So when we solve it, here we get minus 4 centimeter. So magnification M is equals to V upon U. Now we have the value of V and U both. Just substitute the value, plus 31 minus 30 equals to, we get minus 2. So the negative sign for the M and H dash shows that the image is inverted and are real as well. And it is formed below the principal axis. So thus a real inverted image 4 centimeter tall is formed at the distance of 30 centimeter. On the other side of the lens, the image of the 2 times enlarged. So this is the result of the magnification as well. Now we'll study the power of lens. Okay, what actually the power of lens is. So you have already learned that the ability of the lens to converge or diverge the light rays depends on the focal length. Just for an example, the convex lens is a short focal length and bends the light ray through the large angle. So by focusing them closer, the optical center, similarly, the concave lens is a very short focal length and cause a higher diverge. Okay, it depends on the focal length. So when you have a convex lens, it is having the short focal length, but it is finding the higher divergence than the other longer focal length. So the degree of the convergence and the divergence, okay, of the light rays achieved whether expressed in the term of its power. So this degree of both convergence and divergence will be represented as a power. The power of the lens is defined as a reciprocal of its focal length. It is represented by the letter P. And the power P of the lens of focal length f is given by P is equals to 1 of f. Okay, mathematically we can write P is equals to 1 upon f. So the SI unit of the power lens is diopter and it is denoted by the letter D. And if f is expressed in meters, okay, if f is expressed in meters, then the power is expressed in diopter. Thus 1 diopter is the power of lens whose focal length is like 1 meter is equals to 1d is equals to 1 meter inverse. So you may note that the power of convex lens is positive, that of the concave is negative. Just keep in mind, for the power lens, convex lens will be positive and the concave lens will be negative. So optician prescribed the correct lens indicating the powers, and let us say that the prescribed has a power +2. This means the prescribed is convex and the focal length of the plus 0.50. Similarly, minus, it means the focal length of minus 0.40. So this is the concaveness. So from here they can identify it. Now, what you have learned in this chapter? So in this chapter, we have studied about the light, about the reflection, about the refractions. So the light seems to travel in the straight line. We know that mirror and the lens form images and object that can be either virtual or real depending upon the position of the object. Also, the reflecting surface of all the types obey the laws of reflection. Refracting surface obey the laws of refraction. New Cartesian sign convention are there for the spherical mirror. Mirror formula we have studied, which is 1 upon V plus 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon F. And so the focal length of the spherical mirror is equals to the radius of curvature. Magnification produced by the spherical mirror and the height. We have studied light travels from the vacuum. Enormous speed will be 3 into 10 raised to the power 8 meter per second. Speed of light different in the different media. Also, the refractive index of the transparent medium through the speed of the light vacuum in this medium. In the case of rectangular glass slab, the refraction take place on the both air and glass interface, and the emergent ray is parallel to the direction of incident ray. Lens formula we have 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equals to 1 upon F. Okay, and where U is the object distance, V is the image distance, focal length is the F of the spherical lens. Also, the power lens is the reciprocal of its focal length. As a unit of the power lens is diopter. So this is all about the chapter reflection and refraction. But still, if you have any doubts or you want a teacher to guide you personally, you can join our one-to-one live tutoring at Go Ask Now Academy. We will help you to learn every concept with the ease. Thanks for watching. Just stay tuned for the next chapter. Thank you very much.